Let's get into the album reviews. Now we have one album that we are going to review today, and that is going to be Offset, Father of Four. Now, Offset has had a hell of a 2018. The man has been getting in beef with people. He got married secretly. He had a child with Cardi B, and he's been in his share of scandals. Not only did he get into some beef with Chris Brown, Soulja Boy trying to come at him a little bit, and of course the whole cheating scandal, which had pretty much everybody who was a Cardi B fan on his head and saying that he was a piece of shit and all that stuff. He was supposed to actually release his album last year, but it ended up getting pushed back, and I'm sure that it got pushed back because of all of the scandals that he just had to try to salvage his relationship. Him and Cardi ended up getting separated for a little bit, but now they're back together, taking care of the child, and looks like they're being a family, and they, for the most part, gotten through all of that stuff, because that's what people, when you love somebody, that's what you do. You got to fight to keep your girl. And when he ended up bringing out the project, on the Breakfast Club, and actually respected what he said on that interview, it seemed like he's evolved and reflected a lot. I know that everybody, especially these blind fans, they want to just automatically condemn somebody if they do one bad thing or they do a couple bad things, but at the end of the day, that's his life, and that's his baby mama's life or his wife's life. That ain't your life. So who are you to judge when you're on the outside looking in? Like, that's not your thing that you have to go through. And it seemed like Offset realized that, especially in that Breakfast Club interview and on this album. It definitely reflected a lot of like what he was going through. He definitely had multiple songs about his children, about Cardi's situation. He apologized a million times on it, and it seemed like he actually wants to be a better husband and a better father to his newborn and his other 3 kids that he had with his other baby mamas. Now, obviously, as far as talent and celebrity wise, I don't think we know any of them compared to Cardi B, and even if they did, I'm pretty sure Cardi B is going to be the biggest baby mama out of all of them. But that's still, not to discredit any other baby mama who he had children with. But obviously he loves all of them just the same, and I just think that he's overall just grew as a person, which people can do. So for this particular album, it has 16 songs total. Features Big Rube. Shout out to Big Rube. That's definitely a huge thing in Atlanta. J. Cole been doing a lot of features. I'm actually very surprised that he just keeps jumping on features. So that's pretty wild. Gunna, he has CeeLo on here, Travis Scott, 21 Savage, Cardi B, Quavo, and Gucci Mane. And I would say my favorite songs from this album would be Quarter Milli, Clout, Wild Wild West, and How Did I Get Here. Now, as far as this album compared to the other solo albums by Takeoff and Quavo, I gotta say that I think Offset's album was the best. I would have to.
We said that was gonna happen.
Yeah, but I think that we were a little bit worried just because when Takeoff's album came out, it was very underwhelming. So a lot of people were like, "Oh man, well I don't know how Offset's album gonna be," but I think that, again, he had the best album after listening to it. I think he had some really good features. I think that, and this might be a hot take here, this might be an unpopular opinion, I think that Offset, out of the Migos, is probably the most versatile, especially after hearing this album. I thought that Quavo initially was, because Quavo's the hook guy, and he's a good songwriter or whatever. He's definitely written some songs for some high name artists, but I think that Quavo just kind of got to take a step back, because Quavo really isn't the lyrical dude. I think that Offset is like Takeoff and Quavo mixed into one. I think that he has a bigger repertoire that really propels him above his other counterparts. And I think that really showed on this album, especially with the features. I didn't find one feature to be like out of place or sound weird. North Star with CeeLo Green. CeeLo Green killed that. Obviously had Big Rube on the very first song, Father of Four. J. Cole killed it on How Did I Get Here. Cardi B, I actually think Cardi B out-rapped him, which is funny, on Clout. I think that Cardi B kind of killed that shit. I was like, whoa. I said, whoa, this is kind of wild. Like,
I'm glad you said it before I did. I definitely was gonna say it.
Yeah, I think she actually killed him on that. And then Quarter Milli with Gucci Mane. I think that's definitely my favorite out of all of the songs on here. I just think that beat was dope. But I liked all the production. My homies were trying to argue with me, and he was like, man, he's like, this sounds like some simp shit. He over here talking about his kids and talking about, you know, I'm sorry to Cardi B every song. But I'm like, what else are you supposed to do? Like, this is what he's been going through for a whole year, fam. Like, I would rather him talk about what's going on in his life than fake it and act like nothing happened, because we clearly know that something happened. So this is what you do when you grow and you make songs and you make projects about your life. Like, you have to grow, you have to evolve. Like, obviously he's still talking about like the same old shit, like getting money and messing with women and stuff, which I still find funny, because like we know what's going on with your life, but you know, you still gotta, for the people that I guess halfway don't listen or don't care, you still gotta keep up that persona in a sense. But still, even with that, like, he still had some really touching and personal songs, like Don't Lose Me. That was a very personal song. Father 4, the very first song on here. And then Came a Long Way. That was probably like his one of his most personal songs. Those three right there. But overall, like, I liked the production. I thought that, you know, for the majority it was upbeat. I was messing with it compared to the other two Migos projects, and I think that overall, like, and this is just comparing all of the Migos, like, he had the best. Like, it was just no question. He definitely had the best album, and I enjoyed it. I put a lot of songs on here, and I've been listening to it ever since it came out. So that's my take on it. How you feel about this, Floyd?
It was decent. It was decent. Out of the songs out of the whole album, the songs that I like was Made Men, Wild Wild West, and Clout. Those are the songs I like the most. You already stated that Cardi B got him on that song. She killed that shit. Came front. I just hope she wrote it. That's all I can say about that. Hopefully she wrote it and he didn't write it for her.
Oh man,
or nobody else for that matter.
I mean, you know, that's what they were saying.
I'm just saying, let's not act like it ain't true. That, you know, the allegations ain't always been out there. That she gonna write her own stuff. Yeah, I thought that that very first song, the actually opening track, which was I believe it was Father 4, got really personal, talking about, you know, his oldest son and all the stuff, saying out, you know, he was 17 when he had him and shit like that. I felt that shit. That shit was kind of tight. And then you touched on like him, you know, getting into beef and shit like that with other rappers and stuff like that. I just seen like snippets of the stuff with him on that Ebro, and he's still popping off. It's like, second I wanted to get behind him after I watched that Breakfast Club interview that he did. It was like, okay, maybe he's misunderstood. Then he turned right back around saying how like the older generation should thank them and shit like that. I'm like,
oh, god damn it.
I'm like, come on, fam. Like, I was rooting, you know, the Vivica Fox meme. I was rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
That's how I was, man. Now it's kind of like, I don't know, fam. You switching up on me too much. So yeah, with that being said, those were the songs that I liked the most on it, without, you know, talking too much on it. That Made Men was hot. That was probably my favorite song out of all of them. Made Men was hot. Like the Wild Wild West joint with what's his name, Gunna. Mm-hmm. That shit was tight too. And then, like I said, the Cardi B stole that. You know what I'm saying? She had the best verse on the whole album to me.
Doing the thing for clout.
Yeah, she had the best verse on the album, on the entire album, with all those features. Gucci. It was a lot of features too. Like, I think it was like 16 songs, and like 8 of the songs had features on them. So that's a bit much for my taste. I mean, if you got 16 songs, I don't want to see more than like 4 features. Just my personal preference. But I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 2.5. It was the best out of every solo project from them.
Okay. And I presented a question. I was like, damn, he got all these features. I was like, is Offset low key cheating compared to the other Migos, because they didn't have that many features, or at least Takeoff didn't, because Quavo he did have a share of features as well. But I felt like Offset had the best set of features. So I was like, yo, is he kind of cheating on this? Like, I still thought that he had the best album out of the 3, but the features, like, if you're looking at it from that perspective, that it kind of is cheating, like, because it's like, damn, can you do any dope songs by yourself? But I still gave him the benefit of the doubt because I still enjoyed like the majority of the songs on here. So
right. The one of the songs I picked on it, which was, I think it was Made Men, didn't have a feature on it.
Yeah, that was solo.
So
yeah, that was solo. So again, my take on it, from all the features that I ended up liking the majority of the songs, he clearly had the best album out of the three Migos. I'm gonna give him a 3. Just based off of that alone, because I really thought, especially after the delay, the first delay, I was like, man, I don't know about this. Like, what is he really trying to do? Is he trying to save face? What else is really going on with it? But I think all in all, once it finally came out, I thought that it was a pretty decent album, and I enjoyed it for the most part for what it is.
Good production too. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, production was definitely good. And obviously that with me, that's my biggest thing. I look at the production first, and then like if the features on there, I'm seeing how you mesh well with the features, and then the lyrics come after for me. So again, I enjoyed the album, man. I definitely enjoyed it. So I'm gonna give it a 3. So that's our takes on it. I'll say Father 4. I give it a 3. Fly gives it a 2.5. So there you go, man. This album review. Let's get to the song of the week.